what is it that you did yourself that made you understand that this is working and this is not?
Continued working, and then continued building up. The UK entrepreneurial space, I think it's there. People do want to do things and build companies and put money into the economy, but it's not how it used to be.
Is money and enough motivation to continue further down the line, or you think there's a point when you reach and you're like,
so money is.
Welcome to the episode of Growth Horse. Today we have a guest who was a tech entrepreneur and was based in the UK and now with us in the UAE. Welcome, Shuayb, to the podcast. It's a episode of Growth Horse. We're happy to discuss and understand more about you, yourself, and what you do in the UAE. Before I begin, I usually ask this question to most of the people at the podcast to make it more interesting and to spend our viewers' time efficiently till the very end. What is something about yourself which is very interesting that will make the viewers watch this podcast till the very end?
Probably, so what people mostly don't know about me is I used to be very socially anxious and reserved and had a stutter up until 2 years ago probably, until I really started this whole business endeavors and leaving my healthcare career and going into the tech industry. So that's probably something that people don't know. I have a lot of things online that most people know about me, but that's one thing I'd say. That's
very nice. You said you were in healthcare and then you turned into tech.
Yeah, so this was in 2020, I decided to leave healthcare. And in the UK, we have the National Health Service, which is a free service, but they don't exactly pay
the NHS,
people very well. Yeah. So I left that. I really wanted to get into something that gives me a remote income, something where I can travel a lot more, eventually move to a Muslim country, and have a more higher, or ideally no ceiling of income, right? So I started learning how to code and realized, hey, this is actually pretty easy. It's not that difficult. Most people, or 50% of people, of developers working today don't have a degree.
Right.
So it wasn't that difficult to get into it. And after about 6 months, I started looking for roles. And 2 months later, my first interview, I got a job offer, which I rejected because they wanted me to move up to the remote place of UK, Bradford. It was not remote, but it was very far away. So I said no. And then the second interview I had, it was not the best place. And the pay wasn't as good. So I kept searching, and the second interview I had, I got that, alhamdulillah. And then from there onwards, it was just I kept switching roles after a year and a half, getting up the career ladder, then starting my own thing with freelancing.
When you started your own thing, was there a point where you're like, oh, this is not something that will work out, or this is not something that I want to pursue?
Yeah, but that's always the case, right? You always have these doubts in your head when you think, you don't need an employer and you can make money yourself. But I think the pandemic and the years following the pandemic helped a lot of people realize that, you don't have to go into the office to do interviews, which means you probably don't need multiple, you probably don't need one person to give you your income, right? So I think that made it a lot easier as I would start talking to various people about how I can help them using my existing skills, which was building websites and web apps. And I just kind of started onboarding a few clients, people who are in my circle, outside of my circle, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and then it kind of just grew and scaled from there. But I didn't have any doubts that it wouldn't work, because the way I think of it is, if other people are doing it, that you see online, on Instagram, on social media, then I'm sure I can do it.
Obviously, early days are very difficult. You don't get traction so easily. Is there something or somebody specific that you can recognize who has helped you build your business, or probably cheered you in your early days, saying that you know what, it's broken right now, but it's not forever?
Bro, honestly, I just watched a lot of YouTube at the time.
It's not specific anybody.
No, when I was looking for roles, my first junior role as a software engineer, I did have a mentor help me.
You were in London at that time?
I was in a place called Stoke-on-Trent.
Okay.
No, this was actually before that. I was in Cheltenham, and this was outside of London. This was my radiotherapy role. It was my NHS role. But I just found this person on Twitter. They wanted something to add to their CV, mentorship. I had a need. I was like, okay, can you help me out? And then I landed a role after, alhamdulillah. So that person, I think, helped me out quite a bit. But in terms of business, it was a lot of YouTube and a lot of people who did what they did, and I saw it worked for them. So I thought, okay, if I can just copy what they do, I'm sure I'll get somewhere.
And obviously, the first customer is the most memorable one, and the way you acquire your first customer is obviously a task.
Yeah, man.
Something that you don't forget for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
How was it for you?
So, alhamdulillah, I'd say, bro, I was kind of lucky, man. Like, I had a small following on X before it was Twitter, right?
Okay.
I had like 400 or 500 followers on there at the time, but I was just always constantly build in public. Like, I would share my journey, and I would share like...
What would you actually share? Like, a lot of people say build in public, but would you share like your success stories, your breakdowns, or what is it?
So back then, this is like when I was freelancing, right? This is when I had my role, when I just started my software engineering role.
Okay.
But I wanted a bit more money on the side because a junior role obviously is not the best pay, but it's kind of like, it's good, but it's like, I wanted a bit more. And my goal within 2 years was to get out of corporate in general.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I need my first client. People knew that I left healthcare and went into the tech industry, or was trying to get into the tech industry. So I built a small community, and on Twitter it was quite easy to kind of like interact with people at the time, and DM people, and like a lot of people were business owners, but it's not obvious that they were business owners. So my first client was someone who just DM'd me, wanted a website. Actually, she wanted a portfolio website. She was a UX designer. She knew how to do designs, and she wanted to get into the industry. And I knew how to build websites. So I thought, okay, look, I can charge you like, I think it was like 500 quid at the time. I was like, okay, we could work together. From there, what led me to like higher paying clients at the time was showcasing how I built her website. So once I finished the site, I'll put a video on Twitter, like, hey guys, look, I built this website, please retweet. And, people would retweet. And then at the end, so someone else DM'd me who had a business and wanted a better website at the time. And then the website I did, it took me maybe like a weekend to complete, because I just took a template that worked online for like $20.
What template was it?
So it was on Webflow.
Oh, it was on Webflow,
Yeah, so I just took a template on there, changed it up, added pictures, got feedback from the client, and then afterwards just continued from there, iterating further and further on. And I'd say 70% of my websites don't need custom designs, so it's just about building like on templates. And then it just became really easy to just continue from there.
And was it like too many revisions? Because I know websites is like so much design.
Yeah. So, I mean, with her, she just wanted something that showcased what she can do. A contact page, a simple landing page, right? So it wasn't too crazy. Because I knew I was doing at the current company I was working at. Yeah. I knew what it took to create a website that she'd ideally be happy with. And then from there, it was just revisions based on like small tweaks and things like that.
Obviously, from the first customer to the time you reached where you are right now, high-paying clients, what way can you describe your best customer or your ideal customer? Like, if this guy comes to me, this is the best person I can deal with. Your ideal customer.
I'll tell you my worst customer first.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So he had multiple restaurants. Okay. This is in London.
Yeah.
And he knew that I had a few clients on my belt. I wasn't the most experienced, and I was still working my full-time job, right?
Yeah.
Which in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have told him, but hey. And I charged him like, I think $1,000 at the time.
Yeah. And
he was like, can we split this into 4 payments? I was like, bro, like, well, no, that's not going to work. So that had a lot of red flags in my mind, but I still went ahead with it. I was like, you know what, it's not bad. I can do this really quickly. It was a smash burger store, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't that difficult. I found a really good design template that I liked online.
Yeah.
I showed him the template before we even got started. I was like, hey, I'm going to think about building it like this. He liked it. So I thought, okay, cool. This should be quite quick. And then just getting the pay from him and getting the feedback from him, that took, bro, like a month to do. Like,
no way.
So it was quite frustrating. Yeah, man. Not great.
And now coming to the best one.
So the best client was probably...
Or maybe you didn't have that best client, but you would imagine your best client to be in a way. What does it look like? My
ideal client. So now I do a mixture of websites and building funnels and also email marketing as well.
Yeah.
So an ideal client I look for is someone with an existing following, someone who already has a funnel and it's making them a certain amount of revenue, and they just want to get to the next level. So the best client I had previously who like got me a lot of, let's say, good traction and more referrals was a Premier League football agent. It was Mesut Ozil. His agents had a online school that he wanted to scale, taught people how to be football agents. So he was quite interesting. He wanted a bunch of stuff, SEO, a funnel, a better website. So that led me to a bunch of other projects too. I ended up working with an MBA manager as well, who had a course too. And then I established a niche, which is always good to do. If you started something like if it starts anything to do with digital marketing, with this ads, editing, or landing pages, whatever it is, it's always good to have a niche after you have a few clients in like random industries. Then you can have a niche that can you know exactly how to get results. You know what works and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. And when you're dealing with niche clients, what are you looking at right now?
So currently, if I were to get someone through the door at the moment, it would be someone who has some sort of online info product, some kind of coaching program. That's what I do as well, right? I help people get into the tech industry. I've mentored over 700 people since 2022. So that's something I'm looking for because I did that for myself. So it only makes sense to also help other people do it as well. Plus, building websites for random industries, especially restaurants, it's not ideal because they're not the best type of clientele, in my opinion.
And when you talk about dealing with different clients, being in that messy phase where you're trying different things, trying to make things work, some things fail, some things work. What is it that you did yourself that made you understand that this is working and this is not? Did you cut some things off your plate? Did you delegate some things? Did you eliminate some things? What is that process that you probably applied?
So in the beginning, I didn't have the idea to make this big, right? Okay. I didn't plan to move to the UAE. I thought I needed a few more years in the industry as a developer to pick up the confidence and skills. But I'm not a very patient person. So in hindsight, at the time, I probably would have continued working and then continued building up more and more clients until I got to a point where, you can't say, you need a certain amount of revenue before you create a job because business is up and down, right?
Yeah.
But I know I needed to leave the UK and move somewhere where I'm a lot more comfortable and where I don't pay as much tax, or it's just a country where Islamic values are...
Yeah, you can practice what you want.
Exactly, like a practice. So I contemplated moving to Morocco, Egypt. I was in Egypt for a bit, and then I moved over here. But if I look back now, I think I probably would have scaled smarter. So I would have delegated more and had like one or two people in my team permanently, even if that would cut away from revenue. Because it's always like, it's more of I think it's an ego thing where you think you can just do everything yourself and work with 7-10 clients a month, and then things happen, things break, and it's not fun.
Yeah. But right now, how are you looking to scale?
So right now, I've got systems in place that already are working. Okay. So LinkedIn, I've got an audience online as well. So right now, I have something in place that makes it easier. And also I have my name out there, so people already know my reputation. So anyone who's starting to do this and who's going from 5 figures a month, or like 4 figures a month, and then to 5 figures a month, whether it's 10K, 20K, whatever. I think that gap isn't about doing the same thing over and over. It's more about working a lot smarter and having people in your corner, having even like VAs, right? Or bringing on a junior or an intern. So now with my software company, I use the developers that I've trained in my bootcamp to work for me and build a platform further.
Okay, that's interesting. And what is like a signal you check for a person, whether that person is able to cope up with what you want mentally, in terms of the skills, even at times emotionally, because obviously as an entrepreneur, you're going through lots of emotions as well. And you have like 2 or 3 people in your team. So obviously they replicate your energy. So what is that signal? What is that thing that you see in a person when deciding like he's the right fit or not?
Yeah, that's a good question. When I'm hiring, I tend to focus on people who can communicate really well, right? Who aren't above, being accountable, right? If you can be accountable, for yourself and communicate well and on time, even if you're not perfect in that skill, you'll always find opportunities and people always would want to work with you. Everything else can be trained. Everything else is coachable.
Yeah. So the communication skill can be acquired, you think?
I don't think so. I think if you have the patience to teach someone how to communicate, then fair enough. But I'm not that kind of person. There's always someone who came from a more professional background or has a bit of experience. My mistake when hiring before was I always used to think, okay, I'm going to hire the person with the most experience and see if I can, pay them the least amount, right? Yeah. Someone who's not, who hasn't got the highest amount of fees, but also he's skilled, right? Yeah. So it's finding that balance. I don't think that's a good trade-off. I don't think it's easy to do that. It's far better to hire someone who's like excited and who's basically coachable, right? Who has potential, who can communicate well and is professional, and that you only know through like interviews, right? Yeah. And then from there, just to kind of allow them to use the systems that you've built. So SOPs, even AI, bro. Like you can build systems with AI that make it a lot easier. Where once you place someone into the role, they just have to follow the systems and not really deviate from anything else. Then that leaves you time to just kind of focus on the more needle moving tasks.
Interesting, because hiring is obviously like the most important thing in building a startup, because that really tells you what your future looks like, especially when you're hiring junior staff members, because obviously you're not going to live forever and you're not going to be there in power forever. So obviously getting the right people on board is going to determine whether you are in the right place or not. We also briefly mentioned at the start of the podcast that you were in the UK and then you moved to the UAE, and you told how you were in NHS and stuff like that. Can you tell me a little bit about the business culture back in the UK? And you also interestingly mentioned that the podcast culture in the UK isn't as much as it's over here. So maybe some more interesting insights that you'd like to share.
Yeah, bro. The UK entrepreneurial space, I think is there. People do want to do things and build companies and put money into the economy, but it's not how it used to be. Like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I was still in school, uni, I wasn't really thinking of that. I wasn't even passionate about doing my own thing up until I left I finished my degree and I went into the corporate space. And I thought, okay, is this all there is to life? Like there's a paycheck at the end of every month. And it's kind of, I just found it boring, especially when I was traveling and seeing other countries. I thought, there's more to life than this. And the UK, especially London, puts you in a bubble where you think, okay, I just want to follow everyone else, follow the trend and do what everyone else is doing. On top of that, of course, you got stuff like taxes and, the crime and whatnot. So it was only when I ventured out to other countries and I thought, okay, I can probably see myself living here. I just need, some money on the side. I think the easiest way to do your own thing is to have like a North Star. Like for me, it wasn't really the money. It was mostly like the ability to move to a Muslim country, even if it's one that that's on, isn't as popular or brandable, as like Dubai or New York or whatever. New York is a Muslim country, but, and from there I thought, okay, how much do I need a month to like sustain a good lifestyle? Right. So I thought, okay, Egypt, Morocco, Istanbul, UAE, but mostly those countries like Egypt and Morocco or even Indonesia probably need around $2,000 a month to be okay, and to be pretty good, right? So I thought, okay, $2,000 a month, that's probably one to two clients, Western clients. That's not too hard to do. So that's kind of the mindset that I had at that time. And then as things grew and scale, I had other priorities. But I think if you're starting out, if anyone watching this, the easiest thing is to have something that guides you. So if it's not being location free, it could be, obviously, helping your parents, family, kids, if you're getting married and whatnot. I think if you're just trying to focus on yourself and you just want more money, there's so many ways to make money. And then you end up doing stuff that's, not really halal, or that can end up losing a lot of money, like trading or dropshipping or anything like that.
Yeah. But do you think as an entrepreneur, if everybody wants to make money as an entrepreneur, and even not an entrepreneur, everybody likes money. Entrepreneurs usually want their businesses to be profitable, have more revenue, have better margins and get more money in. But is money enough motivation to continue further down the line, or you think there's a point when you reach and you're like, no money now money doesn't motivate me, so the company is now in a downfall?
So I still think money is the best motivator because it depends on how you use it. Money is a tool to get out of problems, to decrease the stress, and to help the ones around you, your family and friends, right? If you have a long-term 5 to 10 year mission, then you'll always be motivated. Before that, it's just about discipline, right? So it's about putting yourself in uncomfortable situations where you'll grow. I've grown most when I started this business journey, and even when I was learning how to code and getting into the tech industry. My whole career change was probably where I grew the most, because it wasn't just about learning to code. That actually was probably the easier part compared to building up a portfolio, improving my soft skills, learning how to sell myself. I didn't need to do that when I was in university. I paid whatever, and I would go to lessons, and I ended up getting a job in hospital. It sounded like louder than everyone else did. But going away from the pack, away from the herd, that was probably where I grew the most, even in my dean as well, I think. And everything else, my personal development grew the most then. So I think if you're trying to build something for yourself, whether it's a business, whether it's anything else, I think trying to build yourself internally is a lot more important than going after money. Because if you have a talent for something, or if you're naturally a good communicator, or if you're good at sales or whatever, you can always make more money, or you can always save more money. There's always different ways to do that. But if you have a goal in 5-10 years, there's certain things you need to do to get to that goal.
A long-term vision.
Yeah, you need a long-term vision, right?
Yeah. And obviously, looking at Dubai and how fast it's growing, there's a certain speed you need to, keep yourself up to in order to be solid in business. Did that ever work opposite for you in terms of like you had to redo things because you tried to submit it too quick?
Bro, Dubai's fast, man. Dubai.
Because you're coming from UK.
Yeah. So I was in London. London is also quite fast, but the people around you weren't as like hustle-minded compared to Dubai. I think it's because they gave up, honestly. Like a lot of people in London just kind of like gave up and they just end up working jobs where it's like, they could be doing more. Some people don't obviously want, to start business.
Obviously.
That's not, there are so many high-paying careers like, tech, law, whatever. But I think in this current age that we're in now, for our generation, like people age me and you, it's really hard to buy a house these days. Yeah. It's really hard to have enough money a month to kind of like spend on other things and save it and whatnot. The average person in the UK, the average 25 or 30-year-old has like £1,000 or less in their savings. Right. So I don't think that's all to do with them. It is an environment thing. When you come over to the Middle East, there's so many more opportunities because everyone is coming here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what was the question you were asking?
No, like, was it something like the speed yourself?
Yeah.
Did it ever make you extra work or redo work because you try to submit it quick because you don't want the other guy to, be in competition because you just want to win the race by being faster?
Oh, so you talk about competition?
I'm talking about, did the competition make you redo work because you only cared about speed and not about the quality?
Probably not. There are like, I think the play is big enough for everyone. I don't believe in competition as much. I believe in like, if you do the best amount of work and, you're honest and you have integrity, there's always opportunities. But when it comes to how fast Dubai is, I just see it like, bro, you see like Rolls Royces everywhere. There's luxury and wealth around you. So that's what makes me work harder as well. Like it's that environment of like people want to build things and like everyone has a goal.
Right.
But I also know like everyone, like there's also people doing something similar to you. Like if you think that this is the only idea you have, I don't care if it's the most, unique idea, there's probably someone who's done it, but you could use your unfair advantages to do it that much better. And it's about like who lasts the longest, right? There are people who come to Dubai, hear stories that, end up leaving because they run out of money, right? Go back to their home countries.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. And what about like the guy who's just coming from the UK? Somebody who's just starting, your friend or my friend. What is your advice to him?
Someone who's come, who just moved
to from UK to UAE. I've got so many.
That's
people.
like every month, bro. Everyone's moving here.
Everyone's moving here, right? So there's tons of people that are moving here. Now you're experienced there, but you understand business, family, lifestyle, everything. What is one big advice that you could give to these guys who are coming here? Very important, very underrated. Something, obviously, UK to Dubai is like everywhere is there, but I want to hear something underrated, something that nobody knows.
So I've been here a year and a bit. I'd say don't come here if you don't have anything for yourself just yet. Like I see people come here and then leave or think they can come here and get a job here within months or whatever. But if you do have something for yourself at the moment, I think say no a lot more. Like when it comes to, because it can get really easy to like spend a lot of money quite quick. When I first came here, bro, I was just like spending money like left, right, center. Then I realized, hey, I should probably be a bit more careful with a lot of things. But lifestyle inflation is massive here. So come here with a goal and come here with a plan. The network is really good here, so you can meet a lot of cool people, a lot of interesting people that are doing amazing things. But even then, well, nowadays I network with people a lot less because it's just like there's only so much you can do. Like people come here and they start so many different things, and your focus shifts. So I think if someone comes here, let's say next month, keep your focus where it's at, and then kind of like build slowly. So it depends really if you want to stay for a year and temporarily, or if you want to make this your home for the long term.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I want to talk about a little bit about business now, as we're speaking about lifestyle and moving from UK to UAE and how your early stage was. If you talk about your business, if you see your business in terms of analytics, you see your business in terms of reports, if you see your business in terms of customer and data and then data-driven decision making, obviously you're doing a lot of analytics work when you're doing like ads or whatever, funnel building, email marketing, and obviously you're looking at trends and making decisions according to that. What is that one report that you seem to have the highest priority in your multiple reports that you create?
So I want to say sales, Stripe dashboard. I usually look at, for example, the startup that I'm building is an edtech, AI education. Currently, right now, we're looking at how people are using the platform. So we have data points that can see when people are leaving and how they're interacting with the platform. Or we, for example, if I'm looking at my agency side and see, obviously there's a CRM, people who are on your pipeline. that may not convert or may convert. But when we're looking at more like, for example, B2C, more wide range data, ads, or my favorite currently right now is my email list. So I have an email list around 4,000 people, just talking about what I'm building, talking about tips and how to, you know, start your own thing, into the tech industry and things like that. And I look at who subscribes and where they come from, how many people subscribed, why they left, which email they left from, and things like that, and how I can improve always, basically. That's the data that I look at when it comes to like the granular stuff.
And what tool or what software are you looking for in terms of, you know, finding these data? Are these inbuilt tools or these third-party software?
Mixture. So obviously my edtech, my startup is custom built, but when it comes to marketing, I have an email service provider. I use MailerLite quite a lot. I used to use Beehive. Ads, just use Meta Ads dashboard, things like that.
That's interesting. And obviously, you have a lot of happy customers, I believe, and you know they leave reviews and they leave testimonials. How do you use this as an advantage to bring in more customers? Is there a funnel where you use like these in terms of marketing, or are there referral codes, loyalty programs? How do you use these?
So when it comes to the academy, I just write case studies. I have video calls with people who have made it into industry, got their interviews, got their jobs, or started the first few clients, working the first few clients. And I'll just post a video anywhere on socials, on the website, kind of see that, you know, if you follow the system, then you'll get the results. So it's kind of simple in that sense. Otherwise, I would put surveys out there and see what people think, so I can improve the academy or improve whatever I'm working on. But yeah, it's quite simple. I just basically just have a video call with somebody and I'll ask them how it went.
Perfect. Obviously, a lot of talk around this buzzword, AI, right? People using it for different things, good and bad. You're probably using it to leverage your business as well. Is there something that you would like to say regarding AI, being a thought leader in the business of marketing and digital technology, that might seem a personal opinion about something? Could be wrong, could be right. Like it doesn't have to be, but according to your understanding, and maybe 5 years down the line, people are shocked that you made this move. Is there something that crosses your mind that you predict would happen?
Bro, at the moment, like how fast AI is moving is insane, right? There's a new model, there's a new tool out every day.
Right.
I was just in San Francisco a couple of weeks ago, and there were like 18, 19-year-olds building these tools, and like the stuff that's going to come out in the next 6 months, bro, it's going to be crazy. And I think people are relying on it more and more, and they're just not thinking with their heads anymore. Right. So it's going to be it's going to affect elections. It's going to affect the movie industry as well. People are making more and more films and like longer versions of, you know, VO3 of complete AI content. We've got entire TikTok accounts run by AI,
right,
or even Facebook now. So it's going to be a weird role in the next few years. But I think where it's really going to affect people is the job market. I don't think there's going to be a case where AI takes a lot of roles. I think it's going to be a case where companies are going to only hire people who have that AI fluency. AI fluency and AI prompting and prompt engineering, which is a big thing now as well, is going to overtake learning how to code. Learning to code now is commoditized. Anyone can learn how to code. Right now, we're still in that stage of, you know, if you learn to code and pair your skills up with AI and focus on your soft skills, communication, sales, you'll get a job in the industry a lot quicker than someone who just learned how to code. But in the next few years, if you aren't up to date with these tools and learning how to use AI to get the exact, you know, prompts and the exact output that you need or the company needs, then it's going to be very, very difficult for people to stay hired, really, or even to get opportunities.
Yeah, either you stay educated or you stay out of business.
Exactly, man, 100%. Yeah.
That's very nice. Is there something that you would like for the listeners today to take action towards that can change their business in the next 6 months or the next quarter, because we're ending this year around 4 months left? Is there something that you think is a very actionable advice, could be easily implemented, and is obviously not said that often on the social media or different media platforms, that you've from experience seen and you yourself are going to implement it in the next 4 months, because you know it's going to be a busy season here in Dubai? You know, it's winters, obviously, is where people make money. Yeah. Is there something that you're going to implement, you're going to do in terms of whatever you're doing? So for businesses out there, so I recently got approached by this airline in Africa who wants to implement like AI to their website, but not just like normal AI, isn't it? Agentic AI. And I think this is like the next approach or the next iteration to AI, where they can analyze and see, you know, more likely who's going to pay their lifetime value, or, you know, the ticketing system they want to improve.
and a lot of airlines, a lot of other type of industries are slowly building out these tools, but the chatbot now is outdated. So rather than having a chatbot, things like a RAG, retrieval augmented generation, is really, really like out there nowadays. And if you know how to train AI with your data, with business data, and have it in a way where it's like it looks really good, like the user experience is really nice, and have agents that do things that your employees used to be able to do, then that's a massive game changer. I think that will propel businesses next year.
That's perfect. So using RAG instead of, and then, combining it with your local data, putting it on LLM, and then actually having a good user interface.
Yeah, bro. Like, for example, voice AI as well. So we recently built something that a teacher can use to basically talk to their teaching notes. So the core of the AI is using 11 Labs, right? Yeah. And their API. And you can talk to the teacher notes, ask about, which student is doing, well, which student is not doing well, the calendar. They can create a task on their calendar, create an event, add people, all by just talking to it. Total 90 seconds, right? Compared to getting a VA to do that, paying them monthly, or anything like that. You just pay for the LLM. You just pay for how many tokens you use. That's going to be moving a lot more advanced in the next few years.
Tokenization as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the SaaS model, there's talks now that it's going to die soon. Paying monthly for SaaS, because I've got so many subscriptions, I'm sure like we all do.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough for SaaS companies to keep monthly, charge people monthly. I think it's going to be a case where it's all going to be tokenized. So you only get charged based on how many tokens you use.
Yeah, vectorization, tokenization. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. With AI coming in place, a lot of things is going to be you pay for the service and that's it. Yeah. You're not going to have like a subscription fee.
Bro, most people don't know this as well. Like, I'm always thinking everyone knows this because, tech Twitter on LinkedIn is a bubble, right? Yeah. But bro, like you ask people in the street or you ask people that other entrepreneurs, business people, or just professionals, they don't know what Claude Code is or Claude is. They don't know what DeepSeek is. Yeah. Like it's still a bubble that we're in, and it's easy to forget that, right?
Yeah, right, for sure. Because of so many tools and models coming out every day, it's just becoming so. And again, who's marketing themselves well? GPT and OpenAI, probably at the top of the list.
GPT isn't even that great, bro. Like it's so user friendly, and I think it's just when you talk to it, it just tells you what you need that you want to know. Like it's a people pleaser.
Right. And obviously, can't GPT also or GPT himself. Just cannot sound stupid. So it just says anything just to not sound stupid is another challenge.
Yeah. And like OpenAI and GPT, they're going to start selling our data if they haven't already. Yeah. They're training, it's trained on Reddit as well. Like 70% of GPT is trained on Reddit. So if you read Reddit, you can see how negative it is and how much BS there is on there. So, it's always weird. But if you have your own company, doesn't matter the size, and you train it on that data, then things get a little bit more interesting. Because then all the AI slop and all the wrong answers will kind of disappear, hopefully. Yeah,
and that's why you brought a RAG in place and using that. Yeah, very interesting. I mean, Shuayb, it was lovely talking to you and understanding how you started your journey and where you are right now. There's only good things in your end in the future. I'm very, very pleased to have had you as a guest today in the podcast. And alongside, I would also like the viewers to watch you, follow you, subscribe to whatever channels you have. So this is your chance to, promote yourself. If you've got something for the viewers to follow you, if you have any social handles that you'd like to promote, this is your time.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, but mostly on LinkedIn and X. So you can put the links down below. It's just Shuayb__.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for your time, and hopefully we connect on another podcast.